Hey guys, again, gonna try to keep this one a little bit short today, quick and to the point, try to make it easier. Here's what we're gonna do this week. We're still working on that paper. We're still expanding it, but I have something that will help you get it formatted correctly. A lot of professors really go all out to try to teach formatting. I'm kind of more the type of person that's gonna give you the instructions to do it and see if you can put it together yourself. Therefore, what I've done is I'm attaching to this video in the discussion forum a MLA sample paper. MLA is what we use in English to format papers. Now, I want you to exercise putting your paper into this format as best you can, because there's more than one particular form of format for these things, and what you have to do, I can't teach them all to you. So what you have to do is you have to learn to look at a template, and you need to learn to conform it to that template, because like I said, there's literally just no way I can teach you everything. So take a look at the sample paper, look at some of the things that it's doing, and try to make your paper look the same way. And if you can do that, you're going to be much better off than if you're just kind of doing what I tell you to do. You're kind of, actually following the instruction set. So the assignment for this week is a little complex. I'm going to attach the sample paper. I want you to go ahead, take the draft that you're working on from the other forums, bring it over here, write your next paragraph, and go ahead and put it as best into this format as you can. Now, the best way of doing this is to actually take your paper, put it in Microsoft Word or another word processor. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. And actually format it in Microsoft Word, because it's just easier to kind of play with these things. Also, here's some basic requirements for the paper that you kind of need to know to get the length right. It needs to be Times New Roman font, 12 pitch. That's how big it is, 12 pitch. It also needs to be double spaced. That's good news for you guys, because that means you don't have to necessarily write as much. Since it's double spaced, it actually, takes up more room on the page. I don't know if I told you guys about this, but if I have, it's worth repeating. I'm going to include another link to this video called Google Docs. If you have a Gmail account, you can go right into this, no problem, just signing into your Gmail account. Let me explain to you what this is, because I've talked about this with my other classes, and you guys just kind of deserve the same information. Google Docs is an online word processor. You can actually go and do the same stuff you use Microsoft Word, you can go and do with Google Docs. And here's the good part. It's free. F-R-E-E, free. Not free as in free love, free as in free coffee. I mean, it's free. And the cool thing is, if you type something in Google Docs, you need to have an internet connection. It saves as you type. That means you'll never lose anything, and it will always be saved in your Google account. It will never go away. So you don't have to use Google Docs if you don't want. I'm going to include the link to it though, because since it's free and it's open access anywhere you have an internet connection, it means you really wouldn't need those little jump drives you guys have anymore. It wouldn't even be a necessity at all. You just store everything in Google Docs, it'll never go away. So think about that, think about experimenting with it. But let's keep going. MLA sample paper shows you basically what your paper is supposed to look like. Now here's what you need to do with your quotes from your research. Also, you'll notice the MLA sample paper has a works cited page at the end. You need to do the same thing, but you can take those sources directly from your source review, or you can put new ones in, go to EasyBib, type them up the same way we did in the source review if you want to do it that way. It works both ways. So works cited page, there's an example of that in there. As far as quotes go, I haven't talked to you guys about quotes yet. Now, we really need to have a discussion about that. I've got to find a way to do some more visual stuff in here, because quotes are kind of hard to talk about. I'll go ahead and include a quick link about quotes in with this YouTube lecture as well. It's actually from Purdue Owl. But I'm going to give you the easy condensed version of this, because it's not as hard as it has to be. And in fact, MLA has changed things, and it makes it much easier for you if you're using electronic sources like a blog. All you essentially have to do is name drop what it is you're quoting. Name drop whoever it is that you're getting your ideas from. Now remember, if you got an idea from somebody, you need to cite it. Don't ever, ever, ever discuss something that's not yours unless you're telling me according to such and such, or so and so says, or the website at CNN Money indicates, you see what I'm doing there? You need to tell me where this stuff is coming from. Quote, you can quote, that's where you put quotation marks around stuff that you're taking verbatim from the source. That's okay. You can paraphrase. Paraphrasing is good too. That's when you just put it in your own words, but you make sure to tell me where it came from. If you're doing that and it's an electronic source, that's pretty much all you have to do. You don't even have to give me like paragraph number or anything like that. It's actually really nice. It's a lot easier than when I was coming up, you kids today. If you're using a book, I kind of doubt any of you are using books because that's just so out of fashion right now. If you're using a book or you're using something from Galileo, which I want everyone to use something, at least one thing from Galileo. It's okay if it doesn't make a lot of sense, and I'm actually going to get to that in a second. Hold on. If you're using something from Galileo or using a book that's from a journal, you need to include page numbers with it. What page did you find it on? And you should be able to find that information. That's technically the correct way to do this stuff. As long as you get the basics of it down, you'll be fine. And if there's something not going right, I'm going to reiterate this one more time. We're expanding this. We're expanding this. I'm helping you. I'm going to go back into the forum. Did I just lose my video? I may have. Well, we'll check. I'll check after I'm done. I'm going to go back into the forums again and look at what you're doing and try to leave you some more commentary. But I do want you to expand the paper again today in the forum below this video. Now, before we leave for Thanksgiving, which is kind of weird because, you know, we don't really leave with this type of setup. Before Thanksgiving, before that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I do want you to give me a 3-page draft of the research paper to the final portfolio folder that has the research paper resubmission. I know Dropbox. I know my naming system is just completely out there. I'm going to try to revamp it for next time. But try to give me 3 pages and put it in that into that Dropbox so that I can give you a grade that you can then revise, expand, and you'll know what you need to do in those last couple of weeks before the semester ends. Does that make sense, guys? So that's the basic game plan right now. We're still just working on this paper. A little point of advice, you're doing research, try to put a quote or a paraphrase or a citation in the middle of a paragraph, lead up to it, quote, use some information, and then explain why that information is important towards the end of the paragraph. If you can do that, it'll actually help you expand quite a bit. Try to follow that format as best you can. A lot of you guys didn't make it to the library lecture online. I wasn't going to give you a chance to do anything else at first, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that thing was really spur of the moment. So, I'll tell you what, there's a LibGuide link, there's a library link under the resources tab. If you write me an extra source review on something that you found from Galileo using that library resource guide, I'll give you the same extra credit I gave everybody else. So just give me an extra source review on a scholarly source that you found using the LibGuide. It needs to be just like the others. That means you need to write a 5th source review. I think that's fair because it's asking you to use that material, and I think the website should be pretty self-explanatory. If you have a lot of problems, let me know and I'll help you out with it. But just use Galileo to try to find something that would work with your project, some type of research, some type of article. If you can do that, I'll give you the same bonus. And I do want everybody to try to include one scholarly source. In fact, if you really want to be effective today, I'm not going to say you have to do this, try to go to Galileo and find a scholarly source and talk about it in your paragraph or your expansion this week. If you can do that, you'll be really ahead of the game. So try that out, expand, write in the forum beneath this video, and I will be watching. If there's anything, feel free to go to the course lobby, send me a message. Again, I'm working with you guys, okay? So let's just stay in contact and I'll get you through. Have a good day.